It's 2:47 in the morning, and you're wide awake, not because of a noise outside, because of a noise inside your own house. Thump, scratch, thump, scratch, thump. It's coming from the corner of the room, where your dog is curled up, twisting their body to gnaw at a spot on their hip they cannot leave alone. If you've ever laid there in the dark, listening to your dog suffer and feeling completely powerless to stop it, this video is for you. Here's something almost no one tells pet owners at the vaccine counter: the itching, the corn chip smell between the toes, the constant flea checks every summer. None of it has to be a life sentence, and you don't need a $300 vet visit to start making real progress tonight. Some of the most effective first steps sit in your kitchen cabinet and your refrigerator door right now. Today we're going to walk through exactly what's happening under your dog's skin when they can't stop scratching, what actually helps in the moment, what supports their body long-term, and, just as important, where home care needs to stop and a real veterinary visit needs to begin. Because I never want you to use anything in this video as a replacement for your vet. I want it to make your vet visits more effective and your dog more comfortable in between them. Let's get into it. Before we talk about what to do, it helps enormously to understand what's actually happening. When a dog's skin is inflamed, the nerve endings just under the surface become hypersensitive. Even a light breeze or a shirt collar rubbing against them can register as an itch. Once a dog starts scratching, they create tiny breaks in the skin. Those breaks let in bacteria and yeast that are normally kept in check. That's when a simple itch spirals into something that looks angry, raw, and inflamed within 24 to 48 hours. Think about Bella, a 9-year-old golden retriever whose owner, Maria, first noticed her chewing at one spot behind her front leg. Maria assumed it was nothing, maybe a bug bite. 3 days later, that quarter-size patch had turned into a raw, weeping circle the size of a coaster. That's what vets call a hot spot, and it can develop shockingly fast, sometimes in a matter of hours once a dog gets fixated on a spot. Understanding this cycle matters because it tells you something crucial. The fastest way to help your dog is to interrupt the itch-scratch cycle before it spirals, not just treat what's already there. Hot spots. If you're looking at a hot spot right now, red, raw, possibly oozing slightly, the first priority is simple: stop it from getting worse. Many holistic-leaning veterinarians will tell you that pure, unrefined coconut oil, applied in a very thin layer, can offer some short-term soothing and a mild antibacterial effect thanks to its lauric acid content. It's not a cure for an infected hotspot, and if the area is oozing, broken open, or spreading, that's your sign this needs a vet visit, likely for a topical antibiotic or a short course of oral medication. Coconut oil buys you comfort. In the meantime, it doesn't replace treatment for a hot spot that's already infected. The corn chip smell. Now, here's one that trips up almost every pet owner. If you lean down and your dog's paws smell like corn chips or their ears smell slightly musty, that's not just a smell. That odor is a strong sign of an overgrowth of a yeast organism called Malassezia, which thrives in warm, moist places like paw pads and ear folds. Take Charlie, a scruffy terrier mix whose owner Dave described Frito's feet for months before mentioning it to their vet. It turned out to be a fairly significant yeast overgrowth that had been building for weeks. The lesson here isn't to panic, it's that this smell is information. It's your dog's body telling you something specific is going on, not just allergies in general. For mild early yeast overgrowth on intact skin, meaning no open sores, no bleeding, a very dilute mixture of 1 part apple cider vinegar to 1 part water, applied with a cotton ball between the toes or around the outer ear flap, can help shift the skin surface pH to something less hospitable to yeast. A word of real caution here: never use this on skin that is raw, cracked, or bleeding. Vinegar on an open wound will sting intensely and can make your dog more distressed, not less. And if the smell persists after a week or 2 of gentle care, or if you notice swelling, discharge, or pain when you touch the area, that's the moment to call your vet, because a true yeast or bacterial ear infection typically needs a prescription solution to fully clear. Full body itching. For dogs who are itchy all over, after a day in the yard or during allergy season, a colloidal oatmeal bath remains one of the gentlest, most evidence-supported home comfort measures available. Grinding plain, unsweetened oats into a fine powder in a blender and dissolving it into lukewarm bath water creates a soothing film over the skin that can calm irritation. Two details matter enormously here. First, the water needs to be lukewarm to cool, never warm. Warm water increases blood flow to the skin surface and can intensify inflammation and itching, which is the opposite of what you want. Second, resist the urge to rub your dog dry afterward. Pat gently instead. Letting your dog soak for around 10 minutes, then patting dry, allows that oat film to stay on the skin, doing its calming work rather than being rubbed away. For dogs who chew out of anxiety or boredom rather than true itch, offering a large frozen carrot as a safe chew object can help redirect that behavior. Chewing does appear to have a calming effect on many dogs, and a frozen carrot has the added benefit of being low-calorie and rich in fiber. Just always supervise chew time, and choose a piece too large to be swallowed whole. If this is helping you understand what's actually going on with your dog's skin, a quick like helps more pet owners find this video before their dog's next 3 a.m. scratching session. Now, let's keep going, because there's a lot more that actually moves the needle. Fleas, ticks, and wear. Natural support has to meet reality. This is the section I want you to listen to most carefully, because it's also the one where good intentions can accidentally put a dog at risk. You'll often hear that things like apple cider vinegar, turmeric, or brewer's yeast added to a dog's food can make their blood or scent less appealing to fleas and ticks. I want to be honest with you about where the science actually stands. The evidence for these specific effects in real-world conditions is thin at best, and no credible veterinary body currently considers them a reliable substitute for proven flea and tick prevention. Some owners do add small amounts of these ingredients to food as a general wellness habit, and there's nothing dangerous about a pinch of turmeric or a small dash of diluted apple cider vinegar in a healthy dog's bowl. But here's the part that matters most. Please don't let a kitchen remedy be the only thing standing between your dog and a tick bite. Ticks aren't just uncomfortable. They carry the potential to transmit serious illnesses like Lyme disease, which can cause joint pain, lethargy, and in some cases, kidney complications that show up months after the actual bite. In regions where ticks are common, a veterinarian recommended preventive, whether that's an oral chew, a topical, or a collar, remains the single most effective layer of protection we currently have. Think of kitchen cabinet ingredients as something you can layer on top of real prevention, in consultation with your vet, never as the wall itself. The same honesty applies to deworming. You may come across the idea that ground raw pumpkin seeds, which do contain a compound called cucurbitin, can help against intestinal parasites. There is some early interest in this compound, but it is not considered a reliable replacement for a proper deworming protocol. Intestinal parasites in dogs aren't just a dog problem. Some, like roundworms, can be transmitted to humans, especially children, through contact with contaminated soil or a dog's living space. Regular fecal checks and vet-recommended dewormers matter here in a way that a sprinkle of ground seeds simply cannot replace. A little pumpkin seed as an occasional treat is fine. It is not a parasite prevention plan. I know this isn't the exciting, all-natural answer some of you were hoping for, and I understand the instinct. Nobody wants to put another chemical near their dog. But the goal of this channel has never been to avoid the vet. It's to make sure that when you do need real medicine, your dog's body is already in the best possible shape to respond to it, and that in between those visits, you're doing everything safely supportive that you can. Fixing it from the inside, gut health and skin. Here's something that genuinely surprises a lot of pet owners the first time they hear it. Much of chronic year-round itching doesn't start on the skin at all. It starts in the gut. Many commercial dry foods lean heavily on inexpensive carbohydrate fillers like corn, wheat, or excess potato starch. In a dog's digestive system, these break down quickly into simple sugars, and sugar is exactly what yeast and certain problematic bacteria thrive on. Over time, an imbalanced gut can contribute to a phenomenon researchers refer to as increased intestinal permeability, sometimes called leaky gut, where the immune system becomes chronically over-alert. In dogs prone to this, everyday things like pollen, dust, or grass can trigger disproportionate allergic-type skin reactions. Take Max, a 7-year-old Labrador whose itching was worst every spring and fall. His owner, Janet, had tried 3 different shampoos before her vet suggested looking at his gut health alongside his skin. Supporting his digestion with simple additions, plain kefir, a spoonful of pure pumpkin puree, became part of a broader plan that also included his vet's recommended allergy management. If you want to support this from home, a spoonful of plain, unsweetened kefir, plain yogurt, or 100% pure canned pumpkin can introduce beneficial bacteria that support gut balance. Here is a genuinely critical safety point, and I want to say it clearly. Always check the ingredient label before giving your dog any yogurt or kefir product. You are looking specifically for xylitol, sometimes labeled as birch sugar. This artificial sweetener is highly toxic to dogs and can cause rapid, life-threatening liver failure even in very small amounts. Only ever offer plain, unsweetened varieties with no added sweeteners of any kind. Building resilient skin from within your dog's skin is constantly renewing itself. The outer layer turns over roughly every 3 weeks. That means every few weeks there's a genuine opportunity to help your dog grow a stronger, healthier layer of skin than the one before, provided their body has the right building blocks available. Skin cells rely heavily on fats, particularly omega-3 fatty acids, to stay flexible, hydrated, and resilient. If a dog's diet is low in quality fats, which can happen with older, drier kibble that's been open a while, their skin can become more fragile and prone to irritation. A small amount of plain sardines packed in water, with no added salt, mashed and mixed into food once or twice a week, can provide a meaningful boost of omega-3s. A plain cooked egg is a good alternative for dogs who don't take to fish. Homemade bone broth, made by simmering plain chicken or beef bones with no onion or garlic, can also provide gentle nutritional support along with hydration. Onion and garlic are both toxic to dogs, so store-bought broths meant for human soups should always be avoided. Warning signs that mean it's time for the vet. I want to be really direct with you here, because knowing when home care isn't enough is just as important as knowing what home care to try. Call your vet if you notice any of the following: a hot spot that is spreading rather than shrinking after a day or 2 of gentle care, any open wound that looks deeper than surface level, swelling around the eyes, face, or paws, discharge that has a strong odor or unusual color, your dog seeming lethargic or off their food alongside the skin issue, or itching severe enough that your dog is losing sleep or drawing blood. None of these are wait-and-see situations. Skin issues that seem minor can escalate into painful infections quickly, and dogs are remarkably good at hiding how much discomfort they're actually in. A simple, sustainable routine. I know we've covered an enormous amount today. Coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, oatmeal baths, kefir, pumpkin, sardines, bone broth. If you're feeling a little overwhelmed about how to fit all of this into one dog bowl, here's the good news. You don't need to use everything at once, and you shouldn't. Introducing too many new ingredients in a single day is one of the most common causes of a dog's upset stomach. Instead, think in simple daily rotation. Each day choose one gut support ingredient, like a spoonful of plain yogurt or pumpkin. Choose one skin support ingredient, like a bit of mashed sardine or a splash of bone broth. And that's genuinely enough for most healthy dogs on a normal day. Small, consistent, sustainable additions rather than a long list of daily supplements. Consistency over weeks matters far more than doing everything perfectly on day 1. Watching a dog you love suffer through something they can't explain or fix themselves is one of the hardest parts of being a pet parent. It's exhausting, it's worrying, and some nights it can feel like nothing is helping. But the fact that you're here, 20-some minutes into a video about your dog's skin, tells me everything I need to know about how much you care. Has your dog dealt with hot spots, itchy paws, or flea and tick issues? Tell me in the comments what's worked for you. And where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. Hi, I'm Dr. James Carter, and this has been Puppy's Health. If this video gave you a clearer path forward for your dog, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into keeping your best friend healthy, comfortable, and thriving for years to come. Give your dog a gentle scratch behind the ears tonight. From all of us here, we'll see you in the next one.